So Jay and Silent Bob Get Old is an intervention podcast. We gather together to kind of make sure that Muse is staying on the straight and narrow. So it's about getting sober for this guy. We don't fucking tell you to get sober and shit. We believe our ethos is handle your fucking high. That's it. If you can handle it, fantastic. If you can't, like this fool, back away from it and shit like that. So we talk a lot about getting clean, but before we ever talk about that, like we like to talk about getting dirty, man. So we turn to Mr. Jason Muse for a sex story. Take us away, sir.
Stop. So this
Take
is
the podium.
Oh yeah, this is nice. Hold on, where am I going? Okay. So this was like a second date, and I was hanging out with this girl, and we went to this Mexican restaurant, and when we were there, you know, it was a second date, so we hadn't really done anything. And she's like, oh, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. We were like done eating and stuff and chatting and flirting a little bit. And again, back in the day, and I guess still now, I'm a little obnoxious, so I'd be like, yo, when we get buzzed tonight, maybe we'll do a little something. And I'd be like, and I was real obnoxious. So anyway, I didn't really do this.
You didn't do the hand movements and movements and the fucking Police Academy voiceover and shit?
I would be obnoxious and sort of hint to things and stuff. I couldn't really feel her out, but I'm like, fuck it. She said she had to go to the bathroom, and I had to go to the bathroom. So we walked to the bathroom, and, you know, it's always like girls, boys, and she went in, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to try to get in there. So I go in the girls' room, and no one's in there. I'm like looking around, no one's in there. And so she's in the stall, and so I knock, and I'm like, it's me. And I peek in, and I'm like going slow, because I'm like, she's either going to throw me out, and then I'll just leave and be like, oh, I just was kidding, and I thought, but she's like, come on, you know, I came in, I shut the door, and then she was pissing. She's like, this is weird, I'm pissing in front of you, you know, we haven't even fooled around or anything. I was like, yeah, I know, bud. And I was a little buzzed up, so I was like, you think I can maybe wipe your puss? Which, why, I don't know. I don't know why. Seriously, I don't know why.
Dude, there is not a woman on the planet who ever wants to hear you see anything and then end it with the word puss.
She was down. Why I wanted to wipe her puss, I don't know. But I was like, you know what, I'm going to grab. I said, so wait, how do you do it? And I remember her showing me, which was pretty cool and fun, awesome. But she wrapped the toilet paper around her 4 fingers. So it was like, sa-sa! You know, sort of. Which I usually just go like this. Bunch it up and shit, and then I'm like, oh! No. But anyway, so I bend it up, and then I go down, and I give it a wipe, and then of course I give it a wipe, and I see, and I'm like, that was easy, and then like we're eye to eye, and so then I'm like, go for the kiss, and then I'm right there in the puss.
You're the only guy I know who's just like, now that I've wiped your puss, let us kiss.
Yeah. And the weird thing, because now that I think about it, the weird thing was I didn't care that there was just piss there. I guess I never cared that there was piss there, because there's always piss there. But then I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go for the little puss rub, right?
Vagina. There's always piss there. My Life in Pictures by Jason Muse.
Again, you're thinking about it now, but you know, so I'm down there and there's little piss on the hands. I don't care, but I start playing, I'm smooching and stuff, and she's getting into it, and then she sort of squats up. So I weasel my way underneath the toilet, and I'm facing this way, and we're kissing. I'm rubbing her boobs and stuff, and then we hear someone. So then I put my feet up, and we sit there for a minute. And then they leave, but we're still kissing a little bit. I'm still playing and stuff. And then I pull my pants down, and she squats on me. But then I realize it's real awkward, because the toilet was like, you know when the fucking bottom of the toilet's like loose, and it's like, whoop, 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 whoop. Horrible. So it was like, whoop, 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 whoop. So then I get up, and I try to be all manly. Back then I was a little stronger. I pick her up, and there was like one of those nice metal toilet paper rolls. And it was big. It was like this big. So I was like, sit tight. Perfect height. Not like this, but it was perfect height. So I was like, kakai, kakai. And the awesome thing is it was just enough room for her to put her legs against the metal thing. So it was going good, and we're going, and I was a little buzzed. And I happened to slip a couple Vikes then. So I was lasting like a champ. I'm like, ugh, good. And it was like, ding, ding, ding. The metal was like, pop, 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 pop. And then we hear someone come in. Yes.
Why does one want to last like a champ in a fucking toilet stall? Of all the times where you're like, I could get it done in 2 minutes, isn't this the time?
It is, and that's usually my motto. But because I took them, I was lasting like a champ. I'm not saying I wanted to last like a champ, but I was. One, because of the awkwardness there, the toilet, the distractions, and the pills. It's like, I was thinking about it, and I've told you this before, like, usually I'm like, I don't want to come yet. I don't want to come yet, and I like peek and shit, and I started thinking about
that one eye is creeping me out. Just, if you're gonna make her cum face, leave both your eyes open.
So I'm a little distracted, but I'm like, ugh, and I want to come, but I can't, and I hear someone, so we stop. Not to mention that the metal was getting loud, because, you know, those walls are like, they can move. So then we stop, I'm like, what should we do? We should get out of here, because I can't come. And she's like, I'm not going to come either. So we get done, and we go out, and I'm just like, all right, but it's already started. But in my head, too, I'm like, oh my gosh, if we stop, and she starts walking, is she going to be like, why the fuck am I fucking this fool? We just started hanging out. You know what I'm saying? But that's where my head goes. So I'm almost like, are you sure? Maybe we should stay here. And she's like, no. So we start walking down. We're done eating there. We're done doing a little fucking. And we're walking. And then I'm like, hey, let's go. We see a park, like a playground. And I'm like, let's go on the playground. It's light at this point. There's no kids there or anything. But what's awesome is there is one of those, you know those fucking... they're like the bridges that like are like this. They bend, and when you run over them, it's like it's like a wave.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let's.
Some of us can't run over them.
So we go running. We're like running over it, and we're playing on it for a second. We're talking, then I just start kissing her again, and we start kissing, and we start going down.
She must have been like, I'm fucking a 6-year-old, man.
No, it's fun. We had
He's all
fun.
talking wee-wee in the bathroom. He wants to fucking wipe me for the first time. And now he's running around on a fucking playground like,
So she liked it, man. We were having fun. We were going down the slide, and we're like, this is the best time of our lives. I want to fuck. That was what I was thinking. No, we were having fun. We were just sitting there, and we started chatting a little bit, and then I started kissing her, and we sort of go down to this bridge piece. So we're down on this wobbly bridge, and I get down, and we're kissing and making out. And then she pulled down her pants a little bit, getting down, and I pull my pants, and then we start fucking, and it was horrible looking like this. But then I start going at it, but then I realize it's like this. And I'm getting all out of sync and shit, and I'm like, oh, fuck, because for a minute there I was doing good. Before it started messing up the rhythm, it was sort of going, but it was like, ooh, and it was like half hole, with the wave, and she was like, oh God, again, making noise, and it was all, I was getting excited, and I was about to get going there, but then it started getting messed up.
Hold on one sec. Take a deep breath. I don't ever want to be in the middle of a fucking interview situation where they're like, how did he die exactly? I was like, he was so wrapped up in this story, forgot to breathe.
So it started getting out of sync, and it's moving, and I'm moving, but that, which wasn't good, because now I realize like it's like almost falling out, but then in, and then falling out, and it's all off beat and rhythm and stuff. And she's like, it's just weird and stuff. So I was like, how about I get up, and then I'll get on my back and shit, and then you can be on top, and it probably won't shake as much. So I'm on my back now, and she gets on top, and she's like, and it's rocking, but it's rocking with the rhythm now. So it was like up, down, poof, and it was like, yeah.
Found your groove.
It was a groove. Fucking Muse got his groove on, and I was like, oh, and then I was like, she's like, I'm coming, I'm gonna come, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna, and I was thinking about coming, and it was about to come, and all of a sudden the fucking wood happened to just fucking go snip, and I was like, ow. She's like, oh God, yeah, you're gonna come. I'm like, no, ow. And she's like, I'm coming, and she came, and I was like, oh, and I had to lean up and shit, and the thing pinched my skin a couple times, which distracted me from coming. I'm like, fuck. So then she's like, oh,
distracted you from coming. You're lucky you're not a paraplegic, man.
Yes.
Like, how did this happen? You're like fucking on a little bridge.
Well, and it gave me like, you know, those blood blood blisters,
Yes.
the little, it gave me a couple of them on the back. I was like, oh, but I was like, it felt so good and you're awesome. And then we're walking home now and she came, she's like, did you come? I was like, no, well look, man, this happened and it distracted me.
You're like,
And
look
she's
at my back. She's like, that's not coming.
She's like, oh man, and I was like, yeah, it's all right and stuff. And then we get close to her house, and there's like a little garden area at their apartment, and there's a bench. So we sit on the bench, we're chatting again. And
This
she's like,
fucking date never ends, man.
Well, it was a nice walk. And then I was like, she's like, I feel bad you didn't come. I was like, I know it's okay, man. We'll get to hang again and shit. And she's like, no. So she goes, pull your pants down to your knees. So I do. And she pulls her pants down, and then she sits on me. So now I'm sitting on the bench, and she's sitting on my lap, and then she's like,
You move this before you hurt yourself.
Yeah. Oh, that would have felt good. So it was sort of like that, right? That's me. And then she was like, Sasaisin. So now I'm like, all right, this is awesome, and I'm gonna fucking get by it. She's like, just go ahead and come before someone comes. And I'm like, I'm trying. And again, I was having a little trouble. Then I see car lights, and I'm like, oh shit. And she just sits there and she like covers up. She's like, yeah, anyway, like we're talking. And I'm like, yeah, we're talking. And I'm like, fuck, man, the build-up was there. It was just about to be like, roar! But now it's sort of starting to go down again, and the car goes by, and another car goes by. And then she's like, okay, let's go again. And she's going like this, and I'm like, I'm gonna come. And I'm thinking about vagina and titties in my face. I'm like, oh, nice big titties, and oh. I'm not like that. But I was thinking about
I think very much like that.
She didn't get...
You forgot about us for a second. Like I was like, ooh.
Yeah, it really was. It was like, I was like thinking, I'm like, oh, focusing, and then another car comes, and I'm fucking distracted, and she stops, and I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm never gonna come and shit. And so finally the car leaves, and I was like, fuck it. I was like, can you get up? She gets up. I said, grab the bench, because when I'm in control, I feel like there's a little more. So now that she's not jumping on me, she bends over the bench, and now I'm just like, she's like, hurry up and come. And then she comes, and then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna come with that. And I came, and then I pulled out, it was all over her back, and it was awesome. And I was like, fucking victory. And then the car came, and I was like, oops. And I like had to pull it up. And that's the worst. Then I fucking pull the pants up, and it catches on my boner, and it was like, bends it to the side, and I'm like, but it didn't matter, because I came. And I was like, we high-fived, and that was that. It was good. Couple blood blisters, a bent boner, but I was
You're
okay.
like the fucking Jackie Chan of fucking. There's a zillion stunts going on. At the end of it, you could always watch it back and see that you were actually the guy in the stunt. And you're like, oh.
It was bad, but in the end, it would happen. Determination of the penis and the nuts. Come. Scene. Okay.
A sex story by Jason Mewes. I can't wait till you have children and tell them shit like that. We're like, in the end, what matters most? Come. Good scene. They're like, oh God. I can't believe we came from his DNA.
I say yay, 'cause it's Jay and Silent Bob.